we're lucky enough to have 4 early English campaign chests that we can look at and compare them with each other. And these are campaign chests that were made at a time when they're still trying to work out the best way to make a campaign chest. When we think of a campaign chest, we mostly think of a 2-part chest which is very regular in shape, has got brass corners and removable feet. Now these ones were made by cabinet makers still trying to work out the best way to do this. So if we start with this one, this is a secretaire chest and it's a 1-piece mahogany campaign chest. We can see that it's got carrying handles to the sides. The legs on it, although turned, are fixed. It's got the earlier form of skeletal handle, but they've also got some ebonized inlaid decoration to the secretaire drawer that they just couldn't resist putting on. If we look at the next one, now this is also a 1-piece chest. Again, we've got skeletal handles, but they're smaller in size than those on the first chest. It's got removable feet, and you can see they're quite chunky, solid feet, but they're not threaded, they're on lugs. And over time there's probably been a little bit of shrinkage or wear through movement, and someone has put wedges into those lugs just to make them a much tighter fit. But we've also got a walnut chest here. Now this is in 2 parts. We've got the later, slightly later form of handle, and this is probably quite an early use of this campaign handle, which is probably the most common handle that you'll see on an English campaign chest. So that's walnut, made of 2 parts, and that has got turned removable feet that are fitted on threads. And then the last one that we're going to look at is this one, which is also a walnut chest. Now it's made in 2 parts. We've got the skeletal handles, we've got removable feet, but they're on lugs rather than threaded. We've got the addition of brass banding to strengthen the carcass, and we've got flush skeletal carrying handles to the sides. Now let's take a look at the moulding on these chests, because they couldn't give up completely on the decoration that they are adding, and so although they cut back on it, they still felt that they had to have some overhanging moulding, which you won't get on a more standard English campaign chest. But what they have done, and we can certainly see it here well, is that you've got quite a chunky double reed moulding. So although it gives us decoration, it's still going to be quite strong. And that's echoed at the bottom. Now that's an interesting feature, because all 4 chests have got this double reeded moulding to the bottom. Some have also got it to the top, the secretaire we've just looked at, and this walnut one here. These 2 don't. This has got a nice thumbnail mould, which is perhaps a little bit more in keeping with the domestic chest, but certainly it's got it to the bottom here. This walnut chest doesn't have any moulding to the top, although it does have an overhanging edge, but again we can see that it's got it to the bottom. So that's quite interesting, but all 4 have got those. Now we've got 2, as I said, that are 1-piece, not made to come apart. But the 2 that are made to come apart split in the middle as we would expect. This walnut one is very interesting because whereas with most English chests, once they'd become established in the way they were doing things, you would either have 4 lugs to unite the top to the bottom, one in each corner, or possibly 2 lugs and they would be centralised. This chest has only got 2 lugs, but it's got one to the front and one to the back, which is an interesting little unusual academic point. This other chest, which is also in 2 parts, has got 2 lugs, but they're fitted steel lugs, so that much stronger. And this chest, out of the 4 of them, is probably the most advanced in getting along the road to what we expect a British campaign chest to look like. And that's because we've got the brass strapping to it, 2 pieces, as we said, turned feet and the lugs. But what's interesting about this chest is that, again, they couldn't completely give up on decoration. They felt that they had to add some decoration, perhaps just to make it a little bit more commercial or fashionable. And if we can come in and look a little bit closer, on this one it might be more noticeable, on the next drawer down, we can see that we've got inlaid boxwood stringing by way of decoration. But what has also been done on this chest, and it's something really quite remarkable, I don't know that we'll be able to see it on the video, but we can give it a go, is on the feet blocks, an area that you wouldn't really look at, they have got an applied round mould to the front and sides, and that's inlaid with 2 tram lines of ebony stringing, and that's really quite extraordinary. I'm not sure that you would even expect to see that on a domestic chest. So, there we go. 4 interesting early campaign chests where the cabinet makers were trying to work out the best way to make a chest of drawers practical for travel, but they hadn't arrived at the end design that we recognise today of 2 parts, brass bound, no overhanging moulding because it probably need to go in and out of a packing case, with an English chest, no carrying handles to the sides, again because it would need to go inside of a packing case unless they're flush handles, removable turned feet. On later chests they're going to be threaded, it's the most practical and the strongest way to fit them. These have got lugs because they haven't quite got to that stage yet, although one of them does have threaded feet. Flush handles, very practical. But certainly made for travel, because if we look deeper into the chest, and I'm only going to show you on one of them for practical purposes, the construction that they have used goes that much further. The strength of the chest for travel is that much stronger. So if we take out the drawer on this chest, we can see that it's lined in cedar, which is quite a nice sign of the quality of the chest. But we've got quite thick mahogany boards here to support it. And the runners, whereas on most chests you'd expect them to be pine or softwood, have got the addition of a ½ inch of mahogany on each side, just to make it that stronger. The pine would wear down very easily the runners, with the drawer being pushed in and out. The mahogany, being a hardwood, that much stronger, is going to protect the chest far more than the softwood from wear through use. So that's quite interesting as well. Unusual drawer combination as well to the top of this one. Only 3 drawers. The fact that it's only one piece means they've made a concession of the height of it, and so it's not as high as the other chests. That's not as true to the Secretaire so much, although it's still not a large chest in size. But to be able to have 4 chests all at once, for us to be able to look at them, examine them, study them, and to try and work out the development in the design of a campaign chest from a domestic chest of drawers into a piece which was very practical for travel, is very, very interesting. And we hope that you find it interesting as well.